Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. If you guys remember, if you were in this space back in 2017, if you were to see a headline like this, I think it would have been considered fake news. But now it's 2022, and institutional investors are coming to their senses. This coming from Michael at Val5 Links, 8 out of 10 institutional investors, so 80%, believe that crypto will overtake, not only will it become influential, it will overtake traditional investment vehicles within a decade. And the reason why, guys, increased education leading to increased trust is a positive for crypto's long-term potential. This coming from Bitstamp US CEO. Uncertainty over regulation remains the key barrier to crypto investing. So right now we are still in the midst of regulating cryptocurrency in the United States. Just this morning I did a video where I highlighted the fact that Elon Musk and Mark Cuban are now challenging the SEC and their choices to silence the cases that have been settled. If that opens up, guys, that is really going to have a huge effect on this new emerging asset class. I'll link that video up here if you guys didn't catch that, top right-hand corner of this video. So 8 out of 10 institutional investors believe that crypto will overtake traditional investment vehicles within a decade. Bitstamp here did the study. The company's Crypto Pulse survey also discovered that 54% of retail investors believe that cryptocurrencies will overtake traditional currencies within 10 years. So a majority. The survey results show that crypto is a long game, guys, and this is why I say never sell all your cryptocurrency once we hit those new all-time highs. I've been saying it for years now. And we need to keep building for the next 50 to 100 million customers. Bitstamp US CEO Bobby Zagata told Blockworks, the industry needs to enable the infrastructure that supports the next wave of investors. The survey reflects the opinions of roughly 28,000 respondents, about 5,000 institutional investment strategy decision makers, and 23,000 retail investors across 23 countries. So this is a global study, and we're still seeing an overwhelming amount of people who believe that crypto is going to overtake traditional markets. It found that crypto is trusted less than property ownership even, which is trusted by about 80% of retail investors and institutions. Shares and stocks are deemed trustworthy by about 69% and 77% of retail investors and institutions respectively. Still, 67% of retail respondents believe crypto is a trustworthy investment, while 70% of institutional investors respondents said that they trust it. So even more institutional investors, 70% now, say they trust crypto versus 67% of retail respondents. If this was taken back in 2017, again, those numbers would be laughable. It would be like 90% of retail respondents and 16% of institutional investors. This is just a gauge to me of how sentiment is really changing and changing very quickly. Decentralized finance, DeFi investment vehicles, including stablecoins, non-fungible tokens, and blockchain networks have trust ratings of roughly 60% across retail and institutional investors. So people are still trying to figure out, the newer technologies like DeFi and NFTs. However, cryptocurrency as an industry, blockchain, DLT as an industry, coming into its own. So I thought that was great news. Wanted to thank Michael for posting that. And for those of you guys, I don't really talk about quant on this channel, but I know a lot of you guys follow the quant token, have maybe purchased quant. I thought I'd bring this to your attention because it kind of ties into the whole theme of this video. This one from Anderzel here. Greg is giving you everything on a platter here. So for those of you guys who might not know a lot about quant, and even for those of you guys who are already invested in quant and may want to learn more, well, here's what Greg Lunt had to say. So he retweeted out Greg Lunt's tweet here. Central banks around the world have been working independently to design CBDCs, but won't they need a common system for cross-border trade? An emerging video from the ECB gives us a fresh new insight. Plus, I outline quant's near certain involvement. So he's just bringing up some of these points here. Fabio Panetta, an executive board member at the ECB, was asked by European Parliament if there are any coordination efforts with regards to international CBDCs. Pay attention to this because the coordination effort, I think, is key for what governments around the world are planning for us. Mr. Panetta revealed a number of influential banks that he says are aligned and have very close cooperation. Listen to this clip, guys.
Are we in touch with other central banks? Yes, we are. The European Central Bank is working at the BIS with the major central banks that are also working on CBDC. This group includes the Federal Reserve Bank, the Bank of England, the Swedish Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, the Bank of Canada, the Swiss Central Bank, and of course the ECB and the BIS. We are comparing notes on economic and technological issues. We are discussing how to align our projects in view of the necessary interoperability. over time, it would be necessary to make our CBDCs that will be issued at the national level interoperable with each other so that we can also improve the quality, the speed, and the efficiency of international payments. So the answer is yes, we are in touch, we are aligned, we have frequent exchanges. Our Bank of England colleagues have come to see us, have been in New York last month, and we have very close cooperation.
All right, so that sounds like it's confirmed by Fabio Panetta of the ECB. Greg Lunt continues by saying, just gives us the banks that he listed off there, the ECB, the Bank for International Settlements, Bank of England, Swiss National Bank, Federal Reserve, Bank of Canada, Bank of Japan, and Riksbank, which is the Swedish bank. Interestingly, 7 of these 8 banks have a first or second degree connection to Quant. Take a closer look. So European Central Bank. Quant has 2 major ties to the ECB, their partnership with Nexi Group and their membership with the Digital Pound Foundation, and just lists some supporting evidence in relation to that. Bank of England, headquartered in London, Quant has more ties to the BOE than any other central bank. We know the Bank of England also has ties to RippleNet. The fact that the BOE was the only central bank traveling to meet the ECB in person is also an interesting development. Swiss National Bank. Quant is tied to the SNB through an all but confirmed partnership with SDX, Switzerland's digital asset exchange, and SMB's partnership in multiple CBDC pilots. We've got the Bank for International Settlements. Multiple CBDC pilots orchestrated by the Bank for International Settlements include SNB and SDX. So again, just going through all the banks where we are already seeing CBDCs becoming a reality, the coordination efforts to align these different projects. With regards to the Bank of Canada, Quant and MIT wrote a joint paper recognizing Quant's multi-ledger tokens, MLTs, as the ideal CBDC solution in parallel. MIT partnered with the Fed and BOC, the Bank of Canada, to lead technical exploration for their CBDCs. We've got Oracle certified Quant's Overledger, and their interoperability solution in Riksbank uses Oracle for mission-critical systems. So do the math. Quant CEO Gilbert Verdian, his Telegram comments with regards to this: the Swedish Central Bank and Oracle is a nice bonus. Bank of Japan, admittedly, this connection is the weakest of the bunch, but Gilbert mentioned in a Twitter exchange last July that Quant will be in Japan soon. We also know that Quant has filed for a patent on their software with the Japanese Patent Office, so we have some connections there. The tweet thread goes on, and I will link this in the description for you guys. I don't want to dwell on Quant specifically, but or maybe I do. I don't know. Do you guys want me to talk more about this? You may be invested, you may not be. Put it down in the comments section if you are. The fact remains, though, whether it's Ripple and XRP or some other project, all boats will rise with cryptocurrency adoption, and this is how far we've gotten in April of 2022. This also from the Digital Pound Foundation. We know Ripple is a partner here. Quant CEO and Digital Pound Foundation Director Gilbert Verdian is set to address global CBDC implementation at FT's Digital Assets Summit Week next month. So that is happening in May next month. And so you can see here partners include the Bank of Canada, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Quant, and Visa. I'll link this in the description if you guys want to read further. It's an interesting thread with some more information down here. This one retweeted out by Bank XRP. And here, directly from Quant's website, our CEO Gilbert Verdian will be speaking on the panel starting, it's starting today actually. The session entitled CBDC Leaders, How Much Global Coordination Are We Seeing? Will also feature Timothy Lane, the Deputy Governor of the Bank of Canada, Charlotte Hogg, CEO, Europe at Visa, and Thomas Harjono, CTO of Connection Science and Technology Director at MIT. And so the interoperability, right? That is going to be the key focus. We heard it from who was it? Panetta, right? Fabio Panetta from the ECB. So the coordination effort is no surprise to me. Meanwhile, all countries seem to be on board, at least European countries by and large. I know I've talked a little bit about the Bank of Canada and Japan's national bank as well. Well, Mad Dog 28 here brought this to my attention. How on earth can Brian Armstrong say that ICOs that raised money for their projects fall under SEC jurisdiction, but Ethereum falls under CFTC jurisdiction? Are you for real? Unbelievable. So I thought I'd bring this to your attention because despite what we are seeing globally, despite the fact that, all these investors, 80% now are bullish on crypto, we're seeing the Quant project really kind of permeate central banks as well as Ripple and XRP. We're also getting some mixed reaction in the United States. The clarity seems to be politicized, and Mad Dog 26 here is bringing this up with regards to Brian Armstrong. Oddities. Bitcoin is pretty clearly a commodity, Armstrong said. Many of these cryptocurrencies like Ethereum are commodities that probably should be regulated by the commodities regulator or the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. But, Armstrong does think some cryptocurrencies, such as companies raising money with an initial coin offering, or ICOs, fall under the SEC jurisdiction and repeated this regular call for more clarity. So it's interesting that he's saying this considering we all know that Ethereum essentially ran an ICO. Shouldn't that be regulated by the SEC? Yet, the SEC is giving them a free pass. Contradictory, and by and large, it really doesn't make any sense here. So what's happening in the United States? Something political, obviously, something that is really hindering the regulatory process, the regulatory clarity, something that we likely could not have even imagined was happening back in December of 2020 when the SEC brought upon the Ripple and XRP lawsuit. Maybe if we had tapped into Elon Musk at that time, he would have told us all about this years ago, considering the experience he has had with the SEC.
I want to be clear, I do not respect the SEC. I do not respect them.
Just to be clear, I do not respect the SEC. Gotta love that clip. Always comes up every now and then. So wanted to thank MadDog28 for posting this. This conundrum, this unintelligible logic here from Brian Armstrong of Coinbase. And I also wanted to bring you guys this. So this to me is a little, I might sound a little out of place, but to me it sounded a little fishy. This coming from Free American Spirit. Why? He has 2 life sentences and 40 years without the possibility of parole. He is referring to Ross Ulbricht, the Silk Road founder that was thrown in jail. So Ross Ulbricht is forfeiting billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and other crypto assets to the US government. According to a new court filing, Ulbricht will relinquish any claim to over 69,000 Bitcoin, an undisclosed amount of Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin SV, and Bitcoin Cash, worth a combined $3 billion as part of a settlement. But this settlement doesn't sound like it's going to get him out of jail. The massive stash of crypto was originally seized by the U.S. Department of Justice in November of 2020 from an entity known only as Individual X, who had reportedly stolen it from the Silk Road founder several years beforehand. And so rather than claiming the BTC, Ulbricht will forfeit it in exchange for the DOJ clearing his debt of restitution once the Bitcoin is eventually auctioned off, as stated in the court document. So it's going towards damages. Ulbricht hereby agrees that the subject property is subject to forfeiture. Ulbricht withdraws any claim and stipulates to the forfeiture of the subject property to the United States, administrative or judicial, civil or criminal, without further notice to him. The parties agree that the net proceeds realized from the sale of subject property forfeited pursuant to his agreement shall be credited towards any unpaid balance of the money judgment. So it's going to go towards his debts. But think about how much the Bitcoin has increased in price since that time. At that time, the Bitcoin was worth dollars, if not under that. And so what is the United States going to do with the remaining balance? Keep it? Use it for federal purposes? All things that make you go, he's not getting out of jail. He still has, right, down here it says, Ulbricht, formerly known as Dread Pirate Roberts, is currently serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years without the possibility of parole for founding black market e-commerce website The Silk Road. So he's forfeiting all this Bitcoin, and Free American Spirit also asking this question, why would he give all this money to the USA? Is there some kind of deal brewing in the background? And the bigger question, I think, is what is the USA going to do with the Bitcoin? Does the government realize that the US is behind the 8 ball on the cryptocurrency uptake and might need to accumulate fast? Well, what better way than to confiscate Ross Ulbricht's Bitcoin, right? Okay. And to that point, Wrath of Kahneman bringing this to our attention, a few months old now, but just uncovered from Fame 21 More, digging out a fantastic video. Brad Garlinghouse from December. Ripple lost customers in the US, but payments have grown 100% because of business elsewhere. This was Brad Garlinghouse, guys, from the Coin Agenda Caribbean Conference back in early December 2021 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And listen to what Brad Garlinghouse has to say.
Look, I introduced myself earlier. I'm a kid from Kansas who, wears red, white, and blue on the 4th of July. The United States, look, I'm sure this is probably being streamed and recorded, but I'll do something I rarely do.
Disclaimer.
I rarely do this when I'm being recorded. The United States is fucked. It's just like...
The United States is what, Brad? He said the F word. So is it effed because of the situation we're in with regards to cryptocurrency clarity? I mean, he could have meant a lot of things by this. I think in relation to cryptocurrency and his company Ripple, it's quite obvious, I think, where his sentiments, where his emotions lie. Of course, he prefaced this with, I'm as American as apple pie, essentially. He loves the United States of America, but, with the political landscape we're living in, why am I not surprised that he said that? That said, though, guys, I think we are coming out the other end. If you didn't watch this morning's video, I think you should. We are moving in the right direction. That is just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.